Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 2 of season 3. And if you guys haven't already checked out episode 1, well then I suppose it's already kind of ruined, because I am now here with Liverpool, and at last Ogbonna, it was accepted, the deal for 12 million and Jordan Henderson. So it looks like Ogbonna could be on his way to Liverpool, obviously assuming that his contract goes through perfectly fine and a-okay. But like I said guys, if you haven't checked out episode 1, I highly recommend you go and do so. It will kind of maybe answer a few of the questions that you may have had about why I went with Liverpool and that sort of shenanigans. So feel free to go and check that out. And as you can see, we make our very first signing, and that is Akinfeev, all the way from over in Russia. He is coming over to Liverpool. I really can't wait to see how he does. And Suso is on his way off to Athletic Bilbao just to go on loan and get him some experience, you know, that sort of good shenanigans that we all like to see. The team is very young indeed, so we have to kind of roll with it and, you know, kind of loan out a lot of those players. As much as I might not want to do it, I think it is better because they won't all get a lot of game time. Quickly afterwards, though, we do end up picking up Ogbonna, and that is going to make our back three incredibly strong. The likes of Skrtel, Agger, and Ogbonna as your three centre-backs, that is just awesome. But unfortunately, we actually had to adjust our wage budget a little bit just because we ran so close to the last bit there that we ended up really needing to just adjust it. I think it was like to the last 10,000 or something like that. I was really fortunate that it came through, though. As you can see, I was 1.8 million off, so again I had to go back to the wage budget and just adjust it one more time. But after that we did manage to get it sorted and everything was all gravy afterwards. But that leaves us with pretty much no money in either the wage budget or the transfer budget, so we're gonna have to you know, possibly sell some players if I plan on bringing anyone in. But I think at the moment we'll just kind of wait it out, see what happens, and see what develops more than anything. So with that being said, you know, a lot of people on the last one said that they're not a big fan of 3-5-2 on the offline game mode. Yes, it is really strong offline, and don't get me wrong guys, I still think it is my favorite formation, but a lot of people gave me some tips like, Cal, we'd like to see you run some different formations and things like that. So I was like, you know, I think I can do that, you know, why not try something else out? So for the first few games, I do decide to go for the 3-5-2 because obviously I had played through a little bit, and I hadn't uploaded the first video until I saw you guys wanted to see something else. So if you guys do have any other recommendation for a good formation for Liverpool, I'm not really looking for a 4-3-3 because I don't think it would suit my my play style too much. Maybe something like a 4-2-3-1, I think that would work quite nicely, maybe with Suarez as centre forward, Sturridge as striker, something along those lines. So do let me know. But if it wasn't Manchester United, of course Mascherano was coming somewhere to the Premier League, and this time it was to the blue side of Manchester. And as you can see, there was a little news piece on him, and it looks like he could be on his way to Manchester City. What is wrong with this all? Like, he always goes somewhere. Like, he never just stays at Barcelona, except for when I played over at Ajax. He seems to stay there, but I don't know what it was. If any of you guys have any sort of reasoning why he just always leaves, or is that just one thing that just happens in career mode, you know? Either way, Lille came to me and they were like, you know, we want to buy your player, we want to buy Glenn Johnson. So I replied with like a 5.2 million. You know, he is getting quite old, and like I said, with a 3-5-2 formation at the time, which I was pretty convinced I was going to go with, someone like Glenn Johnson wouldn't fit in too well. Fiorentina did decide to come in for a bid for Skrtel, but Skrtel is just way too good to give away for 11 million or whatever they were wanting him for. It's just not feasible for me. I think he's just too much of an important player. Yes, he might not grow into an amazing player, but at the moment, him and Agger are complete rocks of this team, and I feel as though selling them would just be absolutely disastrous. So I do my best to keep him in. As you can see, I rotate some of the squad here just because I wanted to simulate some of the games, and more importantly, get some of the other players some experience and give them some game time, really. As you can see, Cody there, the center defensive mid, I decided to give him a game. Yesel, I think it's Yesel or something like that. I decided to play him as well, but Barina does come on for him, and that was pretty much it. I did want to try out a lot of the team I didn't want to play too many reserve players or anything because I do want to see how they perform. But as always with my friendly games, I do tend to simulate them. So my apologies if you wanted to see some gameplay. You will get a game right at the end of this episode. And I did make this one 10 minutes because I know you guys do like the old 10 minutes episodes. But as you guys can see, I counter offered for 5.1 million because I feel as though that would be a reasonable price for someone like Glenn Johnson. And as you guys can see, another loan offer, this time from Brentford for one of my centre forward. Again, he's only 19 years old, so I definitely feel as though he'd do much better on loan somewhere else than staying at a club where he may not get any game time. And that was very much going to be the case because we just don't have the sort of time to rotate, 68 rated players all the time. It's just not good for the club at all. So we had a friendly against Juventus, and obviously I still played some reserve players. Again, Cody getting some game time, as well as Yezel. And I just can't decide how I want to pronounce his name. Don't worry, guys, I will get there, but I know his first name's Samed, I think. So I might just go with his first name. As you guys can see, Juventus got 3 goals. Marchisio there and a few other players picked up a goal. And unfortunately for me, it wasn't meant to be. But at the end of the day, it's a friendly game. They're all just getting some practice. More importantly, there weren't any injuries, and that's always the big thing. Unfortunately, Fiorentina got back to me saying, nope. Nope, you're not, we're not willing to pay that sort of money, and I can understand, and quite frankly, I'm actually pretty happy with that. It means I don't have to go out looking for a replacement, and Skirtle is, doing a good job at Liverpool. But I had a game against Mallorca this time because Samed was off on loan. Suarez was back in, and as you can see, it's a pretty strong squad again. This time with Cody still at defensive mid because I really wanted to give him some game time. He actually came to me and asked if he could play a few more games, so I decided what better time to do it than in the friendly. As you can see, 2-0 up by halftime there, and it was actually 2-1. They scored in the 45th minute, but Downing comes on, and we fortunately made it 3-1, and that was pretty solid. That's a good victory for the team, and nice to see that we're capable of scoring some goals. But with preseason, it doesn't really tell too much. I mean, you can get a few players moving, get the ball rolling a little bit, but at the end of the day, it all matters what happens in the league and in your respective tournaments as well. An offer comes in for Jose Reina, and that's kind of expected because I did bring Akinfeev, so you can expect an offer in for Reina. And in honesty, if Reina left, that would be okay, because I just feel as though if Reina stayed and he didn't play every game, I feel as though he'd throw up a fit, he'd want to leave the club, and I'd end up getting far less for him than if I just sold him in this transfer window. As you can see, Fiorentina didn't get their hands on Skirtle, so they decided to jump boat and see if they could get their hands on Daniel Agger. And for me, Agger is better than Skirtle, so I went back and I was like, you guys can go and do one, 18 million, or go and fuck yourselves, pretty much. And as you can see, they weren't willing to pay that, and that's completely fine. Again, it's just nice to be able to know you're going to have a solid back line. Everton come in with an offer here for Lucas Leiva. He's got a lot of potential in him. I really think he's a good defensive mid. I feel as though he has a lot to offer. But one thing I must say is, I have Steven Gerrard, and I was going to play Steven Gerrard in the defensive midfield role, but I feel as though it just wouldn't work out too well. Steven Gerrard is naturally an attacking mid, so I think him and Coutinho are going to have to share spots. But I counter-offered Sunderland's bid with 32 million just because I really wanted to hold on to Sturridge. I knew Sturridge was going to become something big. He was going to be a really important part of my attacking threat. So, him linked up with Suarez is just going to be beautiful. So we're gonna have to wait and see how all that pans out, see how it develops, how that partnership works out. But I had my very first game of the Premier League against West Brom. As you can see, I put out a very strong squad. I did end up playing Gerrard in that defensive midfield position, despite going against my better judgment, which was to just leave him on the bench or maybe start him ahead of Coutinho and just rotate those two in and out all the time. But it took a wild cross in, and my defender there, I believe that was Agger, was just caught napping as Lee Dong-gook just scores a beautiful goal against me, and props to him for that. But Odin Wingy with his pace there, cutting inside again through to Morrison, who makes it 2-0 in the 75th minute, and I was absolutely gutted. I know it's an away game, and I know it is the first game of the season, so I am getting used to the team, and I can kind of understand that. So some really shifty defending there from myself, but that always happens with me. And again, Lee Dong-gook is the one to punish me, but that always happens to me Now, I expect the sort of, you know, your defending was really poor in that game, but whenever I take over a new team, I don't know what it is, but my defending just sucks, and it takes a good few games till I get really into it. So I think we're going to have to wait a few games till we stop conceding 3 or 4 goals, but I have to admit, Akinfeev did have a really poor game, and as you can see, the news even picked up on that. So I was really worried by his performance. You know, he was missing some really easy saves in that, and just genuinely, I was quite worried. So as you can see, Stevie G was glad I picked him. Hughes demanded a transfer, and then I get that. The punch in the balls. Luis Suarez wants to leave, and I've only been in charge for 1 league game. I mean, I know we lost to West Brom, but come on, Luis, you got to do better than that. So Suarez looks like he wants to be on his way out, and, you know, I'll give him what he wants. If he wants to leave, I'll put him out on the transfer list, but that is a huge blow. I mean, things are going to have to change. So, you know, I'm leaving you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger. You guys will have to wait till the next episode to figure out who do I bring in for Suarez, if even I manage to bring in anyone. Hope you guys all have a cracking day, and if you could leave a like, that is always very much appreciated. A huge thank you for the support on the first video. It was absolutely incredible. Have a fantastic day, guys, and I'll see you all in a little bit. Bye-bye.